Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Devin Braun.
And Biker Mike.
Speaking of Biker Mike,
We talked motorcycles on this one. A lot of motorcycles.
this one was fun because this is a conversation that we've had hundreds of times.
Oh, so many times.
And never had a microphone there. So when a buddy of ours reached out and asked about getting into riding a bike, we were like, oh, there's so much to talk about. But would you be willing to do it on a microphone with us for a podcast?
Yeah, and it was very difficult because we'd never done it like this in this setting before. And so it was a lot of fun. We had our friend Andy come on. And again, if you don't like motorcycles, skip. But if you're interested, or you know somebody who's interested, or you do ride and you know people that would really get something out of this.
This is a couple seasoned bikers talking to somebody who wants to get in.
Yeah.
So if you know your buddy who's like got the itch,
Yep.
and needs a push, or you got the itch and need a push,
That's right.
this is the episode for you. This is basically shop talk, having good times, nothing serious, but it was a lot of fun, and the time went by so fast. We didn't want it to be a long episode, but it turned into one because we were having so much fun with Andy.
I really didn't think it would go that long. With that being said, right before we kick into this, I had one regret in life. I have very few regrets in life, but my one biggest regret is that I didn't start riding sooner. Honestly. So, enjoy the episode.
What's up, guys? This is the Blue Collar Philosophers Podcast. I am Devin. That is Biker Mike from Mars.
And we have a guest.
We do have a guest.
Yeah.
For the first time since our unofficial first episode. We are joined here by Andy Dreger. And
Do you want us to
Hey,
use his last
guys.
name, or do you want us to edit it out?
Nah, it's fine. Dreger's fine.
Yeah,
Yep.
I guess. There's like a billion of you.
You could have said, Dryger or anything like that.
And no.
Yeah.
We already talked about that. The whole saying people's last names wrong. We're not going to apologize.
No, don't.
No.
Don't. I'm used to it anyways.
Edgar.
Dryad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dreger, hockey player.
What's the worst one you got for your...
I don't know. There's only a couple really. Like Dreger is one. Dreger. Drager. Dryger.
Dryger.
That's a fairly common one.
I've gotten a lot of bad ones, and what I'll
I
do when I go to
imagine,
banks...
Okay, spell your last name.
Beaudioin. So I spell my last name, and so I go to banks and I spell it, and then they try and say it, and I'm like, do you realize that I spelt it so that you wouldn't have to desecrate it with your face?
Well, you know what, Mike? I've known you for a while, and I don't know if I say it right.
Oh, nobody does. I don't. I know it's a derivative of Baldwin, so I'm fine with it. I'm not even going to say what it is here, so that y'all can just figure it out and be uncomfortable.
Well, it's hard enough to say that people that I know have just given up trying and they just call you Mikey B.
Mikey B.
Yeah, there you go.
And I don't mind. Doesn't
Works for
bother
me.
me. All right. So the topic that we're going on today is motorcycles. We're going to talk motorcycles.
Finally.
Because
Everybody's like, you do it every time. Shut up.
So if you hate motorcycles, fuck off. No, you can stick around. Hopefully you learn something about motorcycle riders. Andy, you texted me last week and you're like, hey, I want to get into riding. Now, with that, I got to ask, why? What drew you to it? What's your story on wanting to do that?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh man, that's a good one. I don't know. I guess I just wanted. I needed something. I don't know. Maybe it's a midlife crisis.
Those are fun.
It's a tough one. I to be honest, Mike, you might be behind that a little bit.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think so. I think, Mike, yeah, because when you invited me and Bernie, that's another story. Mike will
We'll get
go
there
along with
later.
that, yeah. So I started listening to you guys a bit, that first little podcast, and then I thought, oh man, that guy, man, he seems a little free. I like that. Yeah. So
And there is something very freeing on a motorcycle.
Hold on. This is Mike reserved. This is Mike not full restraint because he definitely let loose a lot more, but from what we know of Mike is always holding back what's really going on.
Yeah.
no, but I've always kind of like admired it.
Yeah.
I've always kind of wanted to. Yeah, man, that feel good.
Do you have any background on dirt bikes?
Dirt bikes.
Okay.
Dirt bikes. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I think I might have rode a street bike once
Yeah.
or something years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, dirt biking. I have my own dirt bike, and so I have a little bit of experience with that.
Well, that's
So you know
good.
how to use a shifter and a clutch.
I do.
Oh, we're halfway there.
Yeah,
More than halfway there.
I tell you, when I was a kid, I would get it into first real good and get it out of first, but shifting up, I never quite figured out. I just redlined that thing, but I was like 12 and not well supervised. So
My first time on a motorcycle, my dad bought a Yamaha Virago 750, and he's like, do you want to try it? I'm like, yeah, I really, really do. And like, I was just like on it and like trying to figure out what to do. And like, I'd never ridden a dirt bike or anything at that point. I got halfway down the street. I was like, I'm going to die. Like, nope, you take it. I don't want it.
I've always had a little more of the smaller bikes. My brother-in-law, he has a big one, so I went for a spin with his, and that was scary. I thought I'd break something.
So
I had to be- I had to watch
what's
out.
okay? I'm gonna sound ignorant. What do you mean by big? Are you talking like a 125, a 250, a 2-stroke, 4-stroke?
What does he have? I don't even know what.
Does
he
it
has,
make loud
honestly.
noises?
Yeah, it's a bigger dirt bike. I don't know.
Okay.
It's. I honestly don't even know what he has there.
Some of those things are just nuts.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
first time I tried riding a dirt bike, or it wasn't like a super, aggressive dirt bike. It was more of an enduro type of one. Like it was a dedicated off-road machine that had lights on it, basically.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like it wanted to wheelie so
Yeah.
much. Like I couldn't believe how much instantaneous torque there
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Like that single cylinder thing just like going
Yeah.
like that. Like you got to respect it, man.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Like I thought I was getting on there after big tough biker. I've been doing this for a few years, and like I know how to handle power.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of power.
It almost put me on my ass. I'm like, okay, no.
Yeah, they're a lot lighter.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, they're light. And
They are a lot
And that
lighter.
power is just
Yeah,
there.
And the back end just wants to kick out on you. And with a street bike, that back end doesn't kick out on you nearly as easily. And if it does, you're in trouble.
Right, right.
Because you're doing 130 or allegedly. And
Well, here's a question. So is it normal for street bikes to change like when you shift down or you shift up? Like is that
it's universal.
Okay, so it's always
Motorcycles
it's-
are nearly
That's not entirely true.
nearly.
But mostly it's like it's one down to first from neutral and then a 4 up.
Okay,
like, to go
okay.
up to fifth.
Yeah.
or 5 up, depending if you got the right bike with the
the
touring
6
packages with the 6-speed. And
okay.
yeah, so
Yeah.
there are some with more. Mine's a 5.
But like those like dedicated race bikes, they actually flip it so that you're going up to first and you're always shifting down as you go
Really?
up the gear range.
Okay.
So that they can accelerate out of their deep turns without trying to get their foot underneath their peg because they're like leaned over onto their knees essentially.
Yeah.
So they can just tap it down as they're accelerating.
See, I got the heel shifter and I love it. So with dirt bikes, you got a toe shifter, right? Well, this one has a bracket that goes on the back end, so you tap down with your foot to get into first, right?
Right.
And then you tap down with your heel to go
Okay.
into second, third, fourth. So you could do everything off the toe,
Interesting.
But you
okay.
could do everything with the heel, so you're always just stomping down either on the front or the back, depending on how you're
Right.
shifting it. I love
That only works.
some.
That only works when you got floorboards, though. Like,
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
you're essentially just resting your feet on big old boards.
Yeah.
And not on pegs.
I love
Right.
floorboards. I've ridden bikes with pegs, and they kind of annoy me. I'm like, I want my floorboard back.
See, I didn't know. I don't know anything about floorboards. I don't even know if
Yeah, they're
they
great.
existed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the
if-
bigger touring
when
bikes.
when you leave out here, take a look at Mike's bike there. Like,
Yeah.
You'll see he's got like it's like
Okay.
it's like looks like a
Okay.
size 14 footprint or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
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 And I am a size 14.
But that's for the kind of bikes where you're like just cruising on.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not looking to like really like dig in and throw your weight around or stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
It's for
Yeah.
comfort and being on the highway.
What did I see? I saw the what do they call them? Highway pegs.
Yeah.
Is that it? Do you have those?
yeah, the bird-
Is that a must or
No.
When you're
no.
when you're driving?
It matters how much you tour and how much. There's some people out there with like bad knees and stuff like that, and they constantly have to be shifting their leg around. Highway pegs are great. Devin, you had them on your bike before you crashed it. Hey, we got that on video.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah, I've had highway pegs on most of my bikes.
Yeah.
But I really like mid controls so that I can aggressively like flip a bike around and stuff like that. But when I want to travel for 6 hours on the highway, it's nice to be able to stretch my legs out onto those things.
So the highway pegs, they have shifters on them.
no.
No,
No.
that is just
No, no.
there for you.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
When
Yeah,
when you're
okay.
on the highway and you're not shifting for an
Right,
hour,
right.
you just go.
Yeah.
You're on the recliner then.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. Right. I was driving three wheelers, the good old three wheelers.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Right.
the old big reds.
So I had a buddy that has two of them. They had one small three wheeler and one bigger one, Honda. But they were different. They shifted different, right? The opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just I was making a fool of myself there, but trying
Well,
to get
if you're
used
on
to
a
each other.
three wheeler, you're halfway there. They're death traps.
Oh man.
They're so fun though. Like, have you
They
ever
are
had
fun,
a
yeah.
three wheeler?
I've never had one. I was a poor kid.
Have you ever ridden on one?
Yeah.
That's funny that a biker would say that.
That I'm a poor kid, or
That they're
that's terrible. Oh, they're death traps.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Makes me
That's
feel
how
better.
you know it's something. If a biker's like, that's not very safe.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Exactly.
fucking crazy.
That,
we're the guys that are traveling at 140 kilometers
Allegedly.
with nothing between us and the road but some leather and a plastic beanie cap.
yeah.
When we
Yeah.
think something's crazy, it's crazy.
Yeah. Makes me feel better. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. Is that we're looking at, okay, yeah, how you get into it, how you want it, and how you ride, and what you're thinking, and
Yeah.
these are little things. Now, stylistically, do you know what you're thinking for what kind of bike you're looking at?
It's got to be a cruiser.
Got to be a cruiser.
Yeah.
My man.
I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
You've got
I
the
don't
beard
know.
for it.
I
You're
got
halfway
the
there.
beard. That's right. Yeah, that's why I grew it. Yeah.
This beard
No,
has a
I know he's
ridiculous
got that
amount of-
Viking ginger beard going on.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, I love the look of them. I actually went into Honda there and checking out the what do they call them now?
Rebel?
The Rebels, yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh,
1100.
Man, that 1100, that looks.
Do they
100
have, do they have an 1100 in there?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. It's
They're
really nice.
100 horsepower. Now, I know that 100 horsepower doesn't seem like a much
But
because
for
we're so
something-
used
for
to it
something
with
that you
cars.
can literally pick up yourself.
Yes.
Like that's
Right.
It's
Yeah.
100 horsepower, and the only way to make it faster is to lose weight yourself, because there's nothing to it. There's nothing on
Yeah.
it that's going to slow
Yeah.
it down.
Man, yeah. But I mean, even the 500. But I did take
No.
a look at the 500. But I did.
that one would
I talked to you,
that'd be
Mike.
different than what you're
and-
thinking.
Yeah.
That Rebel 500 is much different than you're remembering
Oh,
from
yeah.
your old Shadow 500.
Oh,
that
my
you had.
VT 500
Yeah,
was.
the one from 1983.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, no, it's a whole different world, man.
So I started on a Honda Shadow VT 500, and for the time, it was great for learning on.
Right.
Like, it was great. It was
Yeah.
it good for what it was, but it. I don't know. After you hop on a different bike, you're just
Yeah.
you're ready for
wrecked.
something more almost
Yeah.
immediately. If you try a bike that's a 1400 or a
Oh, man.
leader bike, we call it, anything above 1,000 cc's, It ruins you for anything else.
I so pissed off my wife with that whole thing because that's exactly what I did. It's the bike that you're talking about, the one that I learned on too. Like I got it, and you got it after me.
Yep.
But like after a couple months on it, I was like, "Yeah, Chris, I need another bike." She's like, "No, absolutely not. We just spent the money on this motorcycle. You're telling me you need another one?"
And I got that one for a song. I literally got it for... When I got that bike, your dad's like, "Hey, do you have $1?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I have $1. I'm not that poor." And he's like, "Are you attached to it?" I'm like, "What kind of stupid question is that?" And he's
Of course I am.
"I'm Jewish, of course." "No, I'm not." Anyway, so he's like, "Do you want to buy the Shadow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I do." So he sold me the Shadow for a song, and that's kind of what got me into riding. I've always wanted to. I always wanted to ride a motorcycle, but I always had an excuse why not to. And you and your dad got into it, and then you're like, "Hey, Mike, did you want to learn?" And I had excuses. I'm like, "Oh, I'd love to, but I gotta wash my hair." I don't know. I don't remember what my excuse was. I think it was the cost. And he's like, "All right, we have this bike you can learn to ride on." And so, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I got to go do the test." He's like, "I will pay you to go do the test." Like it was at that point of they wanted me to ride as well.
Yeah.
Join us, Michael.
Yeah.
Join the dark side. And
It's like we were starting a little cult or something.
that's another episode later. So, and it was people like him encouraging me because I think when you ride a motorcycle, it's, I hate to sound blasphemous here, but it's like Jesus. When you got him, you want everyone else to too.
Yeah.
And that's what it was for motorcycles. When you're on it, you're like,
Yeah.
I wish people could feel as free as I do and face death head on. And
Man, I hope my wife doesn't listen to this.
that does bring me to one of the other questions. How's your life insurance? You got good life insurance? Because I've got great life insurance.
Yeah. I do have life insurance.
Good.
Yeah, I might have to up that.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Do it before they find out that you're going to do this.
I remember when I got my life insurance, we were getting term because I don't get whole life, and that's just my choice, and I will choose to do that. And we got such good life insurance that they were like, "Do you do anything dangerous? Do any dangerous sports?" And at the time, I was cage fighting, and I'm like, "Does cage fighting count?" And they're like, "Let me check," and they're like, "No, it's not on the list." I'm like, "Perfect, I do that, but that's just a sport." And now it's at the point where I could literally blow my brains out, and my wife collects. Like, it's good life insurance. But I'm not suicidal, so if I die, it's him.
Don't look at me. I don't get anything for if you die.
Amanda's
looking
going to
at
bribe
Amanda.
you with a motorcycle. She's like, "I'll give you a bike. Take care of it."
No, it's my wife doesn't fully agree with me having a bike, I don't think. But hey, that's another question. Here's a good one.
Sure.
With kids,
Okay.
do you take your kids
Yes, sir.
on the bike?
Yeah, I started taking my son on the bike last year. Basically, that was the kind of his first year where he was free to hop on with me anytime we wanted to go.
How old is
He is 8.
he? Like,
Now, legally, they need to be able to reach the floorboards or the back pegs of the bike. So from the passenger seat, if they can't reach the pegs, they're not riding.
right.
So if they're midget or just really short,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I did though, it's like I actually got a strap set up, like for motorcycles. It's got a foam spacer and like a set of handles on there. So it straps to him and then it straps to me like almost like a rock climbing harness.
Right.
So if something,
there's that one there.
oh, that's not the same deal.
No. There's that was you were talking about the double,
Yeah.
the front and back.
So that way, like, he can't, like, fall off or something like that
Yeah.
if he makes a mistake or looks weird or
Yeah,
tries
yeah.
to do something silly like that. And if we, God forbid, do go down, he doesn't go tumbling, like, on his own. Like, he can kind of be
for sure.
Well, I had that
braced
exact thing
on
happen
a
to me.
big, squishy Devin.
Yeah, yeah.
You are his airbag.
Yes, I am his airbag.
I did have an incident with my son where we were leaving a parking lot. It was raining a lot, and we're going barely moving.
Yeah.
But it was slick enough that my bike kicked out from underneath me.
Right.
Well, I had my kid strapped onto the back of me, not onto the back of he was onto me.
Yeah.
So when the bike dumped out from underneath me, I literally walked off of it. It was going slow enough that I could walk off. Well,
Right.
who's attached to me but the boy?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. I'm like, oh, you're good. He's like, yeah. And he hopped on the bike and we continued the ride.
Yeah.
So, my girls, okay, my older girl loves going fast. She is a speed demon.
100%. She is the one to watch out for of your kids.
Oh, yeah. She's going to have a sport bike, and I'll be like, no, get a cruiser.
She'd be like, screw you, Dad.
Screw you, Dad.
Okay, boomer.
I'm Gen X at best.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty nervous, but I don't.
Well,
I don't
that's
think
the
I'll do
thing.
That, obviously,
Not right away.
No,
You got to. I don't know. How many years was it before? Well, I guess our kids kind of came into it.
Yeah, I started riding before I had kids.
Yeah.
So Mac came around, and I was already well into the culture and well into being a rider. So he's kind of just grown up seeing them.
Yeah.
Like for him, a bike isn't a big deal. Like sometimes he's like, whatever. it's the kind of laissez-faire to him.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's, not all the time is appropriate to bring your kids with you. If you're going on a group ride, especially if you're new or there's lots of other new people around there, probably the more dangerous situation. You don't want to bring them into that.
Yeah, for sure.
And, I mean, whenever you have a passenger on,
Oh, it changes everything.
It changes everything. It changes your whole mindset because you're no longer making decisions that consequences, you can deal with it. You take it on the chin. You're like, okay, that sucks, but whatever. My choice, my bad.
Right.
When you have somebody else on there,
you ride different?
Yeah, you just ride different because they, their health and safety is in your hands at that moment. So you're
for sure.
Yeah,
and my wife, and it's as small as them shifting their weight. So my wife, when we're riding, she will tap me and say, "Hey, I have to shuffle." She just has to move.
Really?
Just readjust herself. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so I'm ready for it.
Wow.
And it shifts the bike's weight. But when you're not ready for it, it's a little more difficult.
Interesting.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess Krista rides on the Valkyrie with me, which is a pretty substantial motorcycle. So her moving around doesn't affect it very much.
It doesn't affect it a lot, but my wife, she's very safety oriented, so she's very concerned with safety.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like it when I go stupid fast, but at the same time,
my wife has a shorthand for telling me to slow down, and that's punching me in the kidneys,
which
I think is
a little
counterproductive.
Self-destructive.
She's only did that once.
Yeah.
I deserved it.
I remember I was going quite fast. I'm not going to give a number because I don't want to.
Speed's nothing but a number, Michael.
Yes, isn't it? So I'm not
one
on
that
camera.
can get you in big trouble.
So I was going close to, and my wife calls me at the next stop, and she's like, "Mike, I just wanted to let you know that I love you and you have children." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. What's going on?" She's like, "Well, I have you on the app. We have this app that lets her track me, and it says you were going."
Oh man.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Oh, that's all it says.
That's
I was
all
doing.
it says.
Okay.
Oh man.
So, yeah.
Busted.
But that's the thing. She didn't get the full number. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and it's, I don't know, when you're riding by yourself and the elements are right, the roads are clear, and everything's great. I've been pulled over by cops and like, do you know how fast you were going? And I'm like, I was riding according to road conditions. They don't like that answer.
They don't like that at all.
I remember one time I got pulled over. He pulled me over and accused me of doing 140. And then I'm like, no, I wasn't going that fast. And he's like, yeah, you were. I'm like, no. So you never admit fault. If you get pulled over, don't matter what, don't admit fault. Don't say, yeah, I was doing that, unless you want to get your bike taken. Depends. I never admit fault. Anyways, and he's like, I had to go 160 to catch you. And
that doesn't sound.
And I said, and I did say this, that doesn't sound very safe.
Nice.
And I didn't lose my bike. I could have lost my bike on that one, and I didn't lose it, so I'm very blessed. All right. So we got style. Now we got to talk about budget. Now,
Budget.
when you're talking about getting into motorcycle riding, you got to start low, but not too low, because if you pay $1 a cc, you're either getting a screaming deal or you're buying a piece of garbage.
Right.
Because I know people who have bought a bike because they had to have that bike. That has to be. We have friends that it's like, no, I have to buy a Harley, and it has bitten them in the ass.
Yeah.
And Oh yeah.
When you want a Harley so very bad, but you only have Honda Shadow money.
Right.
The Harley that you're gonna get is going to be a gigantic hunk of crap. Like,
Oh yeah.
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 it's
Right.
yeah, and it's just been nonstop work, like all
Right.
the time. Harleys are great bikes.
Oh, yeah.
Very reliable, but you got to spend the money on getting one that's in good shape.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And then once you get it, you
It's
got to
a
maintain
premium
it.
brand. You got to spend premium dollars. So if you want that brand and don't want to spend the dollar,
Right.
it bites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not picky with that.
Yeah.
I do like the look of the Harleys, but I also like
doesn't?
I like the look of the. I don't know. Like I'm beginner, so
Yeah.
some of the other ones look great too. Like
Well, that's the
like
thing.
The shadows and I don't know what is it, the victories or.
Oh yeah, the victory. We've been
Oh,
finding some
I love
victories
those.
for 4.5, and I'm like, man, you could get this one for under 4.
Right.
Like they
Yeah.
are, and the
Really?
golden, yeah,
You're finding victories for under 5?
under 5. I
Holy
found like
smokes.
3 or 4 of them, and I'm like,
That actually blows my mind. I didn't
Yeah.
think that they'd be that low already.
no, we got one in Charlie Lake that's down to 4.5, and I'm like, man, you could totally pick this one up for 4. And so
Oh, really?
the golden ratio for those bikes, because of what a bang for the buck, they're a lot of CC, which for how the technology that you're getting. So when you're seeing a 96 motor or a 92 inch, it's 92 inch cubic inches. So that's closer to a 1500 cc bike. And that's a lot of CCs. And it's not Harley
Yeah.
technology where the 96 and the Harley wasn't a hyper performing motor, but you put that same level of cubic inches or CCs into Polaris's hands or Honda's hands, you're getting a whole lot of bike for that price.
Oh really?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's where you're just seeing some of the bikes that are out
Some
there
of
right
our
now.
friends of mine are exploding right now, like trying to argue with you.
Oh,
in their
yeah.
own brain.
Come at me. You have to spend $4,000 to make it perform as good as a Honda. Yeah, I said it. or even some Suzukis or some Yamahas.
You mean $4,000 in aftermarket
In
upgrades?
aftermarket upgrades, you could buy a bike for $10,000 and still have to spend another $4,000 to make it perform as well as some Hondas and Valkyries or
Really?
Hondas and Yamis. Yeah,
Wow.
because they're just, especially because they retain value. You could buy a Harley Davidson for, I know of a Road King for sale for $11,000. Will it perform better than his Valkyrie?
Not a chance.
Not a chance. How much do you pay
Right.
for? Oh no, sorry. How much could you sell your Valkyrie for?
In the condition it's in right now, with the market where it is right now, I think my Valkyrie would probably sell for 5,000 to 6,000.
5,000 to 6,000, and it will
Right.
eat any Harley,
Right.
any
Well-
stock Harley.
Of that price.
That being
Yeah.
said, if I took the supercharger off of my Valkyrie and sold that as a used part, it would probably get 35.
Yeah,
Right, right.
Supercharger alone covers it. So these people that spend
how-
$11,000-$12,000 on a bike, it's not
Yeah.
going to perform better than some Hondas and most Victories.
Right, right,
And it's not a smash on Harley. It's just
right. Yeah,
it's a fact.
yeah.
What do you do?
How big is yours, Devin?
He's got
It's a
two.
You've got two.
The Valkyrie is a 1500 with a supercharger on top of it. And then my other bike is a Suzuki Intruder 1400.
Right.
And that is it looks like a cross between a Harley Sportster and a Harley Dyna.
Yeah.
It's really, really old tech. Like, it's not a rocket ship, but it is a very peppy, fun bike. Very
Oh, yeah.
light.
I sent you a picture of one of the Intruders there. It had bags on it and all that other stuff, but you
Okay.
take those off, and
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool little scooter.
Nice.
And 1,400 cc's
Yeah.
is nothing to laugh at. Like that's
well, no.
for how little is on that thing, for structural, for weight, for all the extra stuff.
Right.
It is a very fast little bike.
Right, right.
So
How big is yours, Mike?
mine is only a 1,300 It's but aluminum
Only?
block. Yes,
Only,
only,
yeah.
only a 13.
Well,
they make
it's-
an 18.
It's so ridiculous right now. Like when you look at like new motorcycles in the cruiser segment, like Harley right now, like their small engine is a 107 cubic inch. Which
Well, they got
is-
the 883 still.
That's the halflings. They don't.
Yeah,
count.
yeah.
They don't count.
Sports don't
But
count.
like as far as like what Harley's marketing and putting out there, like their Milwaukee 8 engine, the entry level one is 107 cubic inches, which is what is that? It's got to be 1700 cc engine.
Yeah, something like that.
Like it's retarded.
1700.
1700 cc's,
What-
and that's their
I-
standard.
I was looking at her and at bikes there, and some of the ones on sale, but at 2,000, I don't know what it was, I forget, but
Yeah.
that's big.
Oh, a
Have you ever-
2000 cc
Oh, yeah,
bike? Oh, that's the
2000 cc.
Kawasaki Vulcan,
The Vulcan 2000. yeah.
2000. That thing is a chugger. That's a touring bike. That's just
Right.
that's made for taking miles. It doesn't have a whole lot of low end torque. It's all about
No, that's
or
the
no,
sucker.
sorry,
It's
it does
got
have a low end torque. It just
that
doesn't
low end and mid range kind of like chug rush. Like when you're sitting at idle on the highway doing 140 and you want to pass, you just kind of open her up and
Yeah.
it'll go.
Yeah.
It's
I've
not
been
it's
looking
not
at
like a
those.
sport bike that's like just like hyper high end like ring its neck power and it'll go 400 kilometers an hour in the blink of an eye. It's not
Yeah.
that, but it's
Right.
that
Right.
displacement. It's it's like an old V8. you know?
Right.
It just gives you that
Yeah.
feeling of rumble and
Right.
that surge.
Yeah.
It sounds cool.
Yeah. So
It's a lot of power.
and again, it goes back to not just CCs, but what kind of motor is it? I was riding a 1300 similar to mine. Well, same CCs, but that thing had a whole lot more horsepower because it wasn't a V-twin, which is two cylinders
Right.
on an angle. It was a V4.
Oh.
And for some reason, you put that thing into a V4 when I rode Dale's bike there. And that was a whole lot of, like, I hated it.
Oh,
No,
really?
sorry. I love the bike. It's the comfort. I hated the sound. It just sounded,
okay.
I don't like the sound of it. I am a V-twin fan, and sound has a lot to do with motorcycles.
Right.
For what you like. Me, I love my VTX 1300. They make the VTX, the Honda that I have upstairs, outside, they make that thing in an 1800.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out how to make my 1300 more powerful, more horsepower, whatever I can do to make it better. But because of how they designed it, there's not a whole lot you can do other
Right.
than new air. You can't punch out the pistons. You can't make it any bigger because of how thin they made the wall. and everyone's like,
I
"Why
see.
don't you just go to an 1800?" And I've heard the 1800. I don't like the sound. I will go less horsepower
Yeah.
because I
yeah.
like the sound of my bike.
Right. The bark. I heard that.
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
The
that a
bark,
word?
the
The bark?
potato.
the potato?
Harleys have the potato.
Oh, really?
Yes, it
Yeah,
sounds
well,
like potato,
they-
potato,
so-
potato,
Oh,
potato,
They've got the
potato.
they've got the two pistons that are operating off of a single pin crankshaft.
Oh.
So, but they can't fire at the same time. So they're at like an off camber one rather than one that's got like two pins for like one for each cylinder that's offset, and they fire at even intervals.
Right.
And
Right.
Yeah.
guys like him and the Harley faithful, they really like that off kilter
Yeah.
sound.
Okay.
Love it.
It's got a
Okay.
rhythm to it.
So,
It's got a soul.
years ago, we've kind of heard this thing that Harleys don't run as smoothly or as good as other bikes.
They
Right.
literally detune them. Like they will
Right,
sacrifice
right. Okay.
horsepower
Okay.
to maintain the sound.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
And it's
okay,
not-
so that's not.
that was the past.
Yeah, I mean that's a myth. That's a carryover from the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
So now, like,
Was it a myth or is it just something a carryover thought
well, it's,
from
it's,
the
yeah,
70s?
it's a carryover thought from how those bikes operated at that point. But like hopping on like even my dad's Road Glide, which is
Yeah.
a 2012 Road Glide. So I mean, it's not new, but like you hop on it, and yeah, you sit there and you see the whole bike just
Right, yeah,
shaking,
yeah.
right? And that's designed for the feel. Like you're sitting on it, it feels like you're on like
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
hot rod that wants to
Yeah.
just
You
you know,
just want to let her
yeah.
rip.
And
Yeah.
but the second you let off that clutch and you're going, it all smooths out and it's
Yeah.
butter.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's like that's there for the image, and they design it in there
That's
because
pretty cool.
it feels cool and it looks cool.
Yeah.
But when you're riding, it's like it's smooth. It's butter. It
Yeah.
runs like a top.
It sounds
It's an
good, looks
amazing and
good.
well designed machine. Like
That really is an art form, hey?
yeah.
Like,
Oh, it
they
really
did
is.
that.
It's an art form that they put into it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's a myth. You know,
Right.
you know, a Harley of any kind of new vintage runs every bit as good as any
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
any other
Turning
brand.
gasoline into noise and joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where, yeah, but for a first bike, I wouldn't go, unless you get a steal of a deal on a Harley and it's in rough enough shape that you don't mind dropping it. Because that's the thing, your first bike, depend on you dropping it at least once or twice.
Yeah.
And for some people, they've had 4 or 5 bikes and they still drop them. You know who I'm talking about. You're not even listening, but you know who you are.
Man, that's my biggest fear is going into Honda and, you know, you try, you get on the bike and, you're setting it down and all of a sudden it just drops. Right?
Okay, so I borrowed
Right into another bike and then it falls.
Oh,
You pull
yeah,
that
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing.
and
You just bought 4 motorcycles.
my name is that guy. What's your name? Yeah, it's that. Bye.
Go in there with fake ID.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
McLovin.
I remember, okay, I did borrow a buddy's bike. I rode my Honda VTX from McBride to Jasper. Well, we stayed in McBride, and then we rode to Jasper, and we hung out there for a little bit. And they all wanted to go for another ride. It's like, hey, want to go for a quick burn? And I'm like, I do, but my ass hurts. And that'll bring us to another topic later. See, but my ass hurt. It did. I was tired of sitting there. My seat wasn't comfortable. It sucked. And I wasn't happy. I was like really annoyed because I did want to ride. And so Dale, my buddy, he's like, hey, how about this? We trade bikes. And he has a couch, a
Oh, really?
glorious couch. It's so comfy. Like he put some serious miles to really, you know that you ever go to Grandpa's house and he's got that one chair that's his chair and you know it is because when you sit in it or you
Yeah.
get the privilege to sit in it, it's a comfy chair.
Yeah.
It was that.
Yeah.
It was just a really comfortable bike. And I'm like, oh. So he lent me his bike. Well, the thing is with this bike is it's very top heavy and it had a lot of gear in it. And so we go on a quick ride and I go to park the thing and I go to put the kickstand down. Well, I didn't get it down in time. So I lean the bike slightly over to the right so that I can get the kickstand and the whole bike just continues to fall over.
Oh,
And I'm not a big dude. And I drop his bike in front of him, and he's sitting there just laughing at me. He's like, yeah, I knew you were going to do it. Like,
Oh, man.
if you're going to lend your bike, be at peace with it getting dropped.
Yeah. Did
Even
you
my
scratch
bike.
up his chrome?
Oh, no.
No?
No worse than he has.
Yeah, that bike.
He's a gracious
it's
person.
comfortable as it is. It's a very top heavy one.
Oh, yeah.
So at slow speeds, it's really awkward to
Right.
control because it just wants to flop over.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a pig in the corners. But I got
And
to ride that
that's
thing.
a mistake that I see a lot of new riders do.
Yeah.
Is they get into they're like, okay, I want to be ride now, and they think, okay, well, I want to ride all the same thing all my buddies are riding, and I want to be comfortable. So they get a big touring bike with fairings and top boxes and saddlebags and stuff, and the weight of those bikes gets them in trouble. Not the power. It's not the power at
Right.
all. It's
Right.
just like it's the weight. They dump it at slow speeds. They tip it over in gravel. They,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they wind up getting
Yeah.
in trouble because they can't stop as fast as they should when traffic,
Yeah.
pulls the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, a big heavy thing like that is something you need to work up your skill level to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I imagine, yeah.
So it's
These things scare me.
yeah.
Man.
I don't
They're
I'm
great
not
now.
such a
Now. That took me a while, but I got there.
yeah, I don't have a problem with guys getting powerful bikes.
Yeah.
Like to start off with within reason.
Within reason.
Within reason.
Don't be stupid.
Somewhere somebody's like, all right, that's permission for me. I'm getting a CBR 1000. But just get something though that is physically manageable,
Yeah.
that you can know you can do the skills test on,
Yeah,
like where you're
for
doing
sure.
figure eights and between the cones and stuff like that without
Yeah.
worrying about dumping it or
Right.
anything like that, or something that you can pick up when you do dump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people out there, they'll pick up these bikes. Like I've heard of people buying brand new bikes to do the skills test with. Well, one of the things that they used to do, I don't know if they still do it, but they used to get you to put your bike on its side
Oh, really?
just to see if you could pick it up.
No, man.
Can you physically pick up your bike? And
No, they don't,
They
do
don't do
that
that, I don't
anymore.
think.
But they make you stand beside it, put the kickstand up, turn the wheel at full lock the opposite direction from you, and make you walk it holding it upright. Like, so
Yeah.
you have to muscle it and do a full 180 turn holding it without dropping it or struggling with it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
because,
Yeah.
but there are bikes out there that are designed to be dropped. The Victory Vision.
Oh, that was
That
the
is a
weirdest thing.
1,000-pound bike.
I don't know.
It is
I don't know if you know what one of
huge.
those looks like.
It's like a spaceship.
Yeah,
You've seen a spaceship on wheels? It's
Yeah.
probably that one.
Yeah, no, it seriously looks like the Enterprise,
Enterprise,
from Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy who drove it or wrote it, his name was Kirk, so it was just too
We
perfect.
call- we
He
called
was-
him Captain
he was
Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Yeah, check this out." He just took his bike and just laid it down. He was like, "What
Wow.
are you doing?" But it only went down like that far.
It was
really?
designed to.
Yeah, it had
Wow.
Anchor points.
yeah, it had anchor points on just underneath the saddlebags and on its
Yeah.
floorboards and on the stuff there. So at low speed, it would just tilt over
Right.
like to
Training wheels.
yeah. Essentially, it was training wheels for dropping your bike, and he was like, "Yeah," and you just pick it right back up.
Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. Yeah.
And so it was designed to do it. You could literally dump it into the shop to get it worked on, and it would do no damage to any of the plastic. It would do no damage to most of the bike. It would just scratch those anchor points,
Yeah.
and you're fine. You just pick it up and get to work. It's
Yeah,
that is a touring beast. That thing is made for touring. It's a V-twin. They only made them for like
But that's like the epitome of what I'm talking about, though, of like not getting something like too heavy and too
Right.
Yes.
physically
Yeah.
large for a first motorcycle. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong.
absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with riding a small bike. In fact, they're so much fun.
oh yeah,
right.
I
because they're
love,
nimble. You chuck them around.
I
Right.
love my Intruder. Like it is the most like I've this is the second one I've owned. I liked it so much I
Right.
got another one
Yeah.
after I
Yeah.
made the stupid decision of selling the first one.
That was your biggest regret, is selling that first one. Because the guys who got it afterwards, they did some nice work to it, and you almost wish you would have done that work. So
No,
that
no, it wasn't even that. I liked that bike. I actually
Yeah.
liked the purple on the tank.
no, I'm talking about the pipes. The pipes sounded like garbage.
Oh yeah, it needed new pipes bad. Like
Yeah.
it sounded like a sewing machine. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, at the time I had a Harley Electra Glide,
yeah,
which is it was a
96
nice
cubic
touring bike. It was a
inch.
fairly new one, and I was like, well, I mean, obviously, I guess this is the bike to take, or the bike to keep, and the cheap
Right.
metric is the one that I should sell to make some extra coin here. And I wish I went the other way on it. To be
Oh, really?
honest, I really do.
Wow.
yeah. So it's not all about the name brand. It's
Yeah.
it's what do you love, and that was for you a beginning error, a mistake he made when he started. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
What's another
that's what
thing?
the first couple of years of riding are all about: figuring out what you want.
Yeah.
Like, I took every opportunity once I was confident enough to ride a motorcycle without worrying about doing something to it. Every time somebody said, "Hey, do you want to try my bike?" Automatic yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
For sure.
I just wanted to experience
Yeah.
all the things to see what I liked.
Right. Right.
I'm pretty honest with people, and I would always say it's like, okay, I haven't been riding that long. Like, I would tell them how long I've been riding so that, hey, I can't afford to replace most motorcycles. So if you're willing to lend me your bike, understand I can't afford to
Right,
replace it,
right.
and there's a chance it might happen. I've been very blessed that the only bike that I've leaned over was my brother Click's, and he was laughing at me while I did it. He was
Yeah.
prepared for that. He wasn't
Man.
worried. And since then, I have ridden so many motorcycles,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. I get to build an opinion because of it. So
Yeah.
you're leaning towards a Honda.
Well, yeah. Whatever. Honestly, it comes down to price right
Price,
now.
yeah.
I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
All I know is I want a cruiser.
Yeah.
I'd like something that looks decent.
Yeah, I know that one.
picky.
Because you want it. We were talking about that.
I feel you. I'm a vain man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the
Why ride a bike if you're going to feel like a dork
Yeah,
on
exactly.
yeah, and you
You might
don't.
as well ride a scooter, right?
You want it. You want to be on
Vesper?
something that you're proud of.
Yeah.
You want to be something that you're like, yeah, that's my bike.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that as much as people.
Yeah.
Like, but if that's all you are is like a really nice bike, you'll wash
Right.
it after every use. I
Right.
am a ride it, wait, put it away dirty. Like I'll clean it once in a while, but
Right.
it's not an idol to me. My bike is not my idol.
You probably cleaned it the first time you
Oh
you
yeah.
got a bike. Hey,
Oh yeah.
you
And I've cleaned it
chrome
since
up
then.
and-
I got white walls. White walls are gorgeous.
I have found it though that like doing a good detail every now and then lets you know if there's anything wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
That's probably
Good point.
the best thing. Like when you're getting used to a bike is wash it often because you're gonna notice different things on it, like if
Yeah.
spokes are loose or if you have an oil leak forming underneath there,
Yeah.
or different things like
Gasket.
that.
Yeah.
I remember one time Nick just got this Harley, and I'm like, I'm going to pull a trick on him. So I grab a quart of oil, so a jug of oil, and I put it underneath his bike. And I run inside. I'm like, Nick, there's a quart of oil underneath your bike. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, an entire quart of oil underneath your bike.
Oh, nice.
He gets out there. He just got this Harley. He just spent like 11. He got a steal on it. That was pretty jelly. And yeah, he goes out there. He's like, you son of a gun. It was funny. All right. I don't. So you just want to you want to get something that you half proud of, half like you don't want to feel like a dweeb
yeah.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
Good price.
One thing.
Yeah.
One thing you want to look at. I know that we understated a lot, but sound. Like
Right.
when I was talking about my bike and the way that it sounded, when I got it, it didn't sound anything like it.
So 1 sec. No electric bikes. That's out.
Like I said, whatever if you want
floats
to
your
fall
boat.
asleep, go ahead. I'd be bored to tears on an electric bike
I don't know, man. I hopped
for a
on,
long ride.
I hopped on one of those Harley live wires at the bike show, and they just had it on
Are they actually
on
a
a
thing?
dyno.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Harley Davidson Livewire. I think Victory made one too.
No, Victory. They were gone before that ever happened.
I thought they made one and they just haven't quite got
BMW's
around to
done
it.
one, and there's been a couple other ones that have come up. But like I hopped on it, and
gotta show you
the
his bike.
thing wanted to rip itself out of the dyno.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had it on
couldn't
tracks.
Believe the power.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
it was like, you know how they say like Teslas like put you back in your seat.
Right,
It's like
yeah, yeah.
It was like that.
Yeah.
That was the feeling that it gave.
Right. So what is it? What do they look like? Do they look like? Oh yeah.
All right, I
Okay.
just googled
Yeah,
Harley Livewire and I showed him
It's
the
the
white
closest
one.
thing they've done to a sport bike, basically.
Yeah, well,
Right,
that
right.
the new one that they have, that Sportster S. I like that Sportster S. I really do. That's a cool scoot.
So I can't imagine they can make a cruiser out of an electric bike.
Well, they could.
Like I mean, yeah. I guess they
But
could.
oh, you're talking
you
about
would-
actual
yeah.
touring, like go on a long ride kind of cruiser, or
Right.
Yeah,
No,
that would defeat
I
the
just-
purpose. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the looks, right?
they
I mean,
just-
you're not going to get the
you're not going to get that look of that engine
yeah.
sitting there, like
Yeah.
looking at you, flashing its cleavage.
I love the V twin, man. I can't. Okay? The Valkyrie that he was talking about, the 1500 with the supercharger, that's a flat six.
It's a 6-cylinder opposed engine.
six.
So three cylinders on this side, 3 cylinders on this side, and it's flat on the bottom, so they shoot sideways. So it's a very low center. So
Right,
gravity wise,
It's
phenomenal.
it's basically a small Porsche engine.
Well, that's small Porsche, small Subaru, like that kind of era.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a Porsche. I'm sorry, but that bike, well, you know that. It sounds like a Porsche. If you're behind it and you have your eyes closed, which don't
Really?
do very often, but it's got that
Really
drone of power of a gremlin trapped.
nice.
But it does drone. And
Oh,
it
yeah.
annoys him a lot.
Oh, I guess I get a headache. If I'm beside that bike for a prolonged amount of time, I have a serious headache, and I'm like,
Oh,
I
yeah?
need to switch spots. And since
Oh, that sounds like a whole lot of your problem, and you could change your tampon.
and I will one day, but for now, it's a cool scoot to ride, but not be behind. In front of, you're fine, but
Oh,
everything.
again, I hear a whole lot of somebody else's deal that I just don't care.
Yeah. So with that sound, it's what bike you love. Me, I love the 1300. It sounds good. It looks okay. I hate the rear fender of the most Hondas. I hate the
So
pointy
what you're
rear
saying
fender.
is, when you get a new motorcycle, you need to make sure that it has decent pipes and a rear fender that you like.
Yeah, it could have everything else that I hate, but if I did like, I'm gonna find something I dislike about all bikes.
I would counter that advice and say that for your first motorcycle, you should get something that you're not gonna have to work on,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
and that you can
Okay.
afford. Really, like just
Yeah.
any bike you're gonna
Yeah.
have a blast on.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's kind of the reason why I want to go cheaper
Yeah.
a little bit,
Yeah,
right? Because I
100%.
don't know. I don't really know what sounds I like. You know.
Yep.
I've obviously heard of Harley before. I've heard other bikes. I don't. So going cheaper, you know, my first bike.
Yeah.
It's something that you're not married to.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And don't get married to it. Like a lot of I know guys
Yeah.
that like I was that guy. Never wanted to get rid of my first bike,
Right,
not knowing that
right.
it was a giant pile of iron after, by the time I was done with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I want to keep it. Heck, that's the seat off of it right there.
Oh yeah.
Custom made seat by a buddy of mine. And
Nice.
yeah, I had a hard time getting rid of that thing.
Yeah.
And mostly because I felt like it was a huge blessing to me, and to sell it would be just, but I couldn't lend it to somebody because it wasn't safe. Like,
Really?
the frame was rotted right out.
Oh,
Every time
man.
I went to go put the kickstand down, I'm like, oh, my kickstand got bent. No, the frame was so rotten that every time I put the kickstand down, it bent. Like, it was
man.
horrible.
The whole frame twisted in that spot.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's
man.
just rusted as shit. There's nothing left.
One of the things to look for
Yes.
when you're buying this bike.
Structural integrity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, getting on a motorcycle. Now, there is something that we have in BC here that Alberta doesn't have. You can buy a bike in Alberta and not get it safety.
You don't have to get it safetied.
Right.
You don't have to get it safety.
Not like vehicles.
Not like vehicles.
You gotta. do
But with motorcycles, you can buy a bike in Alberta, bring it to BC, and just
Right.
insert it. All you got to do is bring it in there, show them the VIN and the.
Well, I mean,
Here's the
from
bike.
anywhere in Canada. It's not just Alberta.
Oh, is it everywhere?
It's like Saskatchewan, Ontario, wherever.
I thought it was just Alberta.
No, it's any out of province motorcycle. All they have to do is see that on the VIN number physically. They have to go look at it and make sure it's not stolen. But other than that, you register it and ride.
Yeah. Where you don't have that in Alberta. You don't have that in
Oh,
all
really?
the other provinces.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about looking for one that has all the original blinkers or
Right.
Stock pieces and all that stuff.
And they they don't they're not going to take a measurement to the tread or do all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, because there are provinces, they got real sticklers for that.
Oh,
So,
really?
I know a couple buddies that they bought out of province stuff in Alberta or Saskatchewan, and got the bike to them, and they're like, "Oh, sweet," they. And then that hidden cost hits. Like, oh no,
boy.
you can't insure this. You need to go get it safetied, and then you take it to the safety people, and they charge,
Right.
exorbitant amounts.
charges on top of the price of the motorcycle, and then say, oh, you need new tires, you need new blinkers, you need to put the stock exhaust back on.
Right.
And
boy.
then you got to go through all that.
Which is bullshit.
So yeah, so you can
Stock exhaust is
you can find
garbage.
yourself finding hidden costs real fast
Right.
if you're just be smart, shop smart.
Stock exhaust. What does that do? What like safety wise?
I think it's mostly for sound.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. They don't like the sound.
I know of places down south in southern BC where they have sound ordinances where if your bike is too loud, they'll give you a ticket.
Oh really?
Where we are
Wow.
very blessed up here, where I have yet to be pulled over because of this. Well, sorry, I've been pulled over because of the sound, but me revving it probably didn't help.
So many of your stories are self-inflicted. It's awesome.
Aren't all our stories self-inflicted to one degree or another? And I don't know, I got the new exhaust and I started ripping through a school zone, and I was near a skate park or whatever.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, well, drug dealers usually ride something and speeding away from cops. I'm like, no, I just love the sound of my
Wait,
motorcycle.
They were trying to insinuate you were a drug dealer?
Yeah, of course. Because you're just riding a motorcycle. You ride a motorcycle. Oh, that's another thing we never thought of talking about. Affiliation.
Oh, the cop factor.
The cop and affiliation factor.
Oh really?
For some reason,
Not all of them.
Not all of
Some
them.
of them have a real bug up their butt of getting spikers.
yeah.
Oh, yeah?
If you
They-
ride
they
a motorcycle,
think
We're all
every-
Hell's Angels.
They
or
they figure every one of us is 81 or
yeah,
some.
yeah, they just think you're all bad people. If you ride a motorcycle and you got a tattoo, You're a bad person. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, like I'm a dad. I got kids, and they're like, well, ride safe. I'm like, yeah. You don't think I love my kids more than like I want to see them at the end of the day. This is because I enjoy it and I want to live. I don't know. There's something about living on a motorcycle that makes you live to the fullest. But yeah, I want. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I want to be safe. If I get ahead, if you see me riding like an asshole in traffic, it's because I want to get ahead of these people. The safest place is in front.
Best defense, good offense.
That's right. So I will always ride. And that's the thing. You see these guys ride like crazy people, even lane splitting. It's to get ahead of traffic.
Right.
It's so dangerous. There are so many dangers affiliated with riding. We both know.
Most of it has to do with the other people on the road.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to do with the riders. It has
Right.
to be with. I've almost been run over. I'm pretty sure you've almost been run over, and it is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is hella dangerous.
The biggest thing is just keeping your awareness up of staying far away from cars.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
for me, like being a biker, loving bikes, like, you know, thinking about them all the time, I'm super attuned to where motorcycles are. Like if I'm in the
Right.
vehicle, I'm like, oh, I hear one,
Yeah. Right.
you know, or you see one down the line. But
I always say, "You son of a bitch," and I'm looking for him. I'm like, "How dare you not be? How
What-
dare
what-
you ride when I'm wanting?"
What I have learned though is that people who don't live in the
want
biker
one?
scene,
Yeah, I do.
yeah, I'll take one too.
All right, give me 1 second. Go ahead.
Although not one Caribou, I'll take one of the other ones in there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. They filter bikes out because it's not something that registers to them
Right.
as a thing. You know, like this,
Yeah, yeah.
there's an old story when Europeans came to South America and, you know, pulling up on the shore and natives being like, "Whoa, where did you guys come from?" They're like,
Right.
"Do you not see the boat?"
Right.
What? And you know, they had no frame of reference for
Right.
what a boat was.
Yeah.
And it didn't register to them that there's this big hunk of wood sitting
Right.
in the bay in
Yeah.
front of them. Like it's so cagers. We call them cagers.
Yeah, anyone
uh,
because it's a cage of safety.
So yeah, people in regular vehicles tend not to notice you
Right.
for that very
Yeah.
same mental phenomenon.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's best just to stay away. Give them wide berth.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is your last Odin.
I know. Shit deity, good beer maker.
All right. Do you want a Peace Gold or a Caribou?
What's a piece gold?
Peace Gold is
That's
Mighty
just the
Peace
leg?
Brewing. Free advertising just this once, you bastards.
Yeah, that's a local beer.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want a mug? Or just a can?
You got your mugs in your.
I got
your
my
fridge?
mugs in the fridge.
They're-
so
Oh
they
yeah,
stay
yeah.
cold.
I'll
And
have
they're
a mug.
cold.
Yeah. Hey, darn rights.
Yeah. I got that fridge for a steal too. I'm cheap. I built this wall. There was no.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So you're saying that your wife isn't totally stoked about this whole thing?
Not totally. No, she's like I've mentioned it over the years, and she was like, "No, you have kids, and
but life insurance.
Yeah.
You have life insurance.
yeah,
I'm sorry, but life insurance is a big thing to me because I have kids too, and I don't like the wife
but
told me I'm not allowed to. I
You
just
can't cuddle life insurance.
and I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe that's what I said to her too.
So how warm is your doghouse? You see,
No.
me, I also had a very blessed existence when it comes to that. Is because I was cage fighting when I met my wife, and so hopping on a motorcycle wasn't a big stretch. She's like, "No, you were doing crazy ass shit before we got
That's
married."
true.
At least you're not getting punched in the face for fun anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So there is that precedent that I set with my life that a lot of people don't have, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
And I get to ride motorcycles and do that. And
But when the time comes and you're confident on it and taking the wife out for a date night on the bike,
they love
Yeah.
it. They
That,
love it.
yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
that goes a long way in being like, you know what, this isn't so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
I'm hoping to get insurance on my bike this week, and if I can take my wife out for her birthday, because her birthday's on Sunday, and if I could take her out for dinner on her birthday on the bike, I'm pretty sure she'll be just happy as a pig in shit. It'll be
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
I realize that.
You're a poet, brother.
Poet. Yeah. So yeah, no, getting the wife on board, it sometimes takes time, but once she is,
Yeah.
it's as I don't know, something about prioritizing safety, prioritizing riding
yeah.
with people and learning. And
So the thing that I'm dealing with now is now my wife wants to ride. That scares the shit out of me.
right?
Right.
Holy crap.
Yeah, your wife got a bike
I'm
too.
so not ready. I'm so not down. I'm at such a hypocrite.
Interesting.
Does
Such a hypocrite.
Does she have good life
How
insurance?
the wheels have turned.
Yes, the turntables have turned.
See, my wife has very good life insurance too, so I'm good.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate the Office reference. Actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I also listen to Office podcast. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, the
Oh,
Office
is that-
ladies?
The Office
Is that-
ladies.
Oh, the Office lady. I listened to Kevin. Kevin, what's his name?
I didn't know
I
he
don't
had
remember.
one.
Yeah, he has one too. I
Does
don't
he
know what it's
still?
called.
Yeah,
I
but-
should check that out because listening to the Office ladies makes me feel like one of the ladies.
Like, oh, lady,
Yeah, lady.
just feminine overload. Like my estrogen rates
I
are going
know.
up just listening to it. So
That's
Pam, the girl Angela Fisher, Fisher, Jenna Fisher, and Angela McKinsey.
That's right.
They have their own podcast
Yeah.
called Office Ladies,
Yeah.
and so they're watching it and then reiterating back. And I've been listening to it, and I'm too far in. I can't
Can't
abandon
stop
it.
now.
I can't
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
now. And so I've been listening to that podcast.
It's
when
okay.
comes out
It gives
weekly.
you a chance to see how the other side lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they go on their little soapbox, I just laugh at them.
Yeah.
But
We'll have to listen to it.
it's not. If you're a fan of The Office, it's a lot
Oh,
of
I'm a
behind the
fan, all right.
scenes and
Yeah.
a lot of deleted stuff. And
It is the greatest show of our generation. I'm
It
just
really
saying.
is.
it is.
It really
It is.
is.
Our
Yeah.
parents had Seinfeld and Friends.
Yeah.
And
We
I
have
don't
The
know.
Office.
We
And
have
we had
Office.
Steve
It's-
Carell saying that's what she said.
That's what she said.
And it made me laugh every time.
Every time. I have a shirt that says "That's what she said" on it, and my wife was like, "Oh, that's a great shirt. You should get it." And I'm like, "Yeah." And now my son is old enough that he's like, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, "Never mind. Don't worry about it."
Oh man.
So yeah,
That's good.
that's just my life.
Yeah, when your kids get old enough that they start catching the subtle jokes that
Yeah.
used to go
Yeah.
over their head, and now you're like,
That's right.
Oh.
Whoops.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
many jokes.
I can't wait for the first time that I watch Mac or watch Shrek with Mac, and then Mac goes like, "Wait a second, he's making a pee-pee joke, isn't he?"
Oh, that's good.
Oh, I'm hoping my kids never get there. I don't know why. I don't know how old your kids are.
Yeah, I got a teenager now.
No,
Really?
14-year-old.
Holy
Yeah.
smokes!
Yeah, and you are going through midlife.
Yep. There you go.
I got 9, 8, 7, and 2. No, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's terrifying.
Yep.
Just having girls today, and that's part of the motorcycle is I want to have that badass factor, so that when the boys do come over, you got the bike and you're like, yeah,
Right,
fuck
right.
around and find out. Like, and I wish I came from the fuck around and find out generation, but I don't. My
Yeah,
dad was a
that's
pastor.
right.
He was a really
We're
nice
all
guy.
misses.
I was playing hockey one time, and this guy, he's like, "Oh, is that the way it is?" I was like, "I was raised this way," and then after, I'm like, "No, it wasn't."
It's totally called bluff.
Like he thought I was serious, and I was like with myself, I'm like, "No, you weren't. You weren't raised this way. Your dad's a pacifist pastor."
Yeah. Oh
Like,
man.
I love my dad,
That's
but he was like, "Do whatever it takes to win a fight." I'm like, "That's not training how to fight."
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Compromise even.
Check the oil.
Do you know what check the oil is? If you're
No.
gonna ride a motorcycle, you gotta at least know what check the oil is.
Check the oil.
No matter who you're fighting, no matter how big they are. If you're like you get in a tussle with a guy
Right.
and you grab your thumb,
Did you just say tussle?
tussle? Yeah,
That's the gayest thing you said all podcast.
that's a pretty. It's about to get gayer. You know it's about to get gayer. So you grab your thumb in a tussle and you shove it up his ass. And it doesn't matter who you're fighting. You do that, they're like, what the hell?
Yeah. Instantly de-escalated.
No kidding.
They don't want to fight you anymore.
Yeah. Oh man.
In wrestling,
Don't
we-
mess with
Yeah.
crazy. Like that's
So
basic
that's check
rule.
the oil.
Yeah, it's called
That's-
check the oil. So
that's
it's a
check the
wrestling
oil.
term because I don't know.
Does has
Somebody somewhere used that to win a fight.
Yeah, I was
guarantee it.
I was gonna ask. Has that ever actually happened?
I did see this one MMA fight where this guy was lying on the ground on his back, facing his opponent, and he had his feet up, ready to catch guards. So the guy's one, and the other guy's standing up, and the guy standing up's like, "I'm going to kick this guy in the butthole with my toe," and he did. And the guy on the ground looked so offended that he looked at the ref like, "Are you going to do nothing? I was just raped right here."
on pay-per-view.
He was really offended. He was like, "Nothing?
Yeah.
I think he should lose a point out of principle." Just ready to cry in his corner. So this is our podcast, and this is what we talk. And we go unedited, so
Right.
all
yeah.
this is going out.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So you were saying, I hate to go back to the grim, but you were saying your wife wants to get into riding, and it's very hypocritical of you.
Yeah, for me, like not wanting her to. I mean, that being said, women drivers, translating that to bikes.
You can only imagine
Oh,
how bad it
man.
gets because
I'm so thankful that she doesn't listen to this podcast.
oh,
No.
she's no, she won't listen to this one. She'll be halfway
No,
in and be like, "I'm bored."
Oh yeah, no. But if she does hear this, she's gonna be like, no, you do not get to say that to me. Like, of the two of us, I have been in more accidents than she has.
Oh, you have, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
also drive more. That's like saying, "Oh yeah,
because I also drive more.
yes, no, 100%." There are people that are like, "Oh, women are more likely to be injured with an ACL injury." It's like, but what are the factors? Like, apparently, statistically, women are more likely to get an ACL injury. And I'm like, "Well, what are the factors?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's like they're more likely. I'm like, "Well, not straight across the board. You got to like." What's the thing? It's like, oh, it turns out it's in women soccer players. It's like, yeah, but how many women soccer players are there? So yes, per capita, maybe they would, but that doesn't mean that you're going to.
But that being said, like I understand, like this is me having the same emotions that she had when I decided to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So your wife had a lot of not hesitation, but reservations.
no, she was fine. In fact, this is maybe even worse for me than it was for her. Like she might have been like just far cooler with it.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
I need to check it and not stand in her way. If she wants to honestly ride, the option's there.
Yeah.
And if she makes the steps to do it, like I'll help her learn how.
Yeah.
Because I want her to learn how to do it, well.
You just want to have
good.
more time on your
Yeah.
bike, so you don't have to have her on the back.
I mean, that's gonna be awesome. Like, I honestly like. There's a part of me that thinks, oh man, going on a road trip with Carissa, where we're each on a motorcycle, like
pretty cool. Yeah.
riding side by side together
Yeah,
to
that's
the
pretty cool.
sunset. Like, that's a romantic.
And I hate to put this on
image.
your wife, but you pack your bike, she packs hers, and she can only take what's on her bike. She can't put any her shit on yours.
That's a good trick. That's
You don't. You get it already. You get it already.
So there is some
Oh,
because we also know the factors of what we've experienced when it comes to how dangerous it is. When you're in a car and you get in an accident, you're like, oh shit, let me go and exchange information. There's none of that.
right.
On a motorcycle, if you have a small accident on a motorcycle, like Devin has multiple times, I hate to put you under the bus, but you've had a few, and I'm just blessed enough not to. And I also don't ride enough, maybe. That could be part of it. But a small accident on a motorcycle are hard to come by because
Yeah.
they are dangerous. You have no cage. You have no seatbelt.
Yeah.
The very fact that we can ride a motor between our legs
Yeah.
with a helmet, that's all you need.
Yeah.
This skid lid is all you need to be legal on a motorcycle.
No, that being said, like because I've had a couple situations, I've gone to full face helmet. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the time.
Full face. What's
Well, this one here is a
scary.
modular,
okay?
which is a two-piecer, so it folds up in the middle.
Yeah. So it's one kind of like that, except mine doesn't have that chin bar flippy up thing because
Yeah.
that's
That looks like
that-
a snowmobile helmet.
yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't have the double lens on the front. Snowmobiles have the double lens for the face shield, for the
Right.
the glass there.
So having that hard chin bar there, that makes me feel a lot better about stuff.
Right. Yep.
And that's
Because-
my, I don't know, bad weather helmet. I don't even think
Right.
it does anything anymore. It's so old.
Yeah, that one is expired.
It's expired.
That-
they
that
do
is a-
expire after
that
a
is
while.
100%
So you push that red
expired.
button in the middle. Yeah, like that. And then you just lift the front. You might need to push it down first.
Mine looks cool because, like I said, I'm a
There
vain
you
man.
go.
Okay, I did. So I was looking at helmets a little bit. I do
Yeah.
like the helmets that just sort of have this, like without the visor,
Oh,
without the chin guard.
that
You
sucker
talking
up
3/4?
Yeah, 3/4. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
take a look
right.
at that one.
That's right.
You can just set that one on the floor. Like I said, it's very expired. That one I picked up for like $5.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks good.
It's makes you look like a dick.
Does it?
No, it's got a lot of foam for it. So it gives you the penis head where it just looks like a giant, not like a jerk. It makes you look like a penis
Most
head.
people call that mushroom head, Michael.
Mushroom head, yes, I call it penis
Same
head.
difference.
Because of how much foam is on that one. Now I got another one here. This is my go-to. This one here, it's got the bubble shield on it. It looks like a little astronaut spaceship, but
I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty cool when you're riding.
and then it's a low profile. Look how much foam is on this one as opposed to how much foam is on that one.
Yeah.
This is a low profile helmet.
Okay.
And I love it. And you told me, hey, you should check out the 3/4 because you thought I could pull it off, but I did not feel confident enough in myself to think that I could pull it off. And
What do you mean confident? Like looks wise?
Yeah.
looks wise, the skid lid,
Well,
the half
that's-
lid,
yeah.
it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And
for
this
sure.
has a little
I
bit
agree.
more character to it, and I didn't think I had the character to be able to. I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just this one seemed cooler to me, so I kind of got my confidence from. Again, your bike. Do you like your bike? If you like it, doesn't matter. Do other people like your bike?
Right.
Yeah, it kind of has a
Right.
little bit of influence. Anyways, so I switched from the skid lid, the half lid there, to the 3/4, and
Right.
yeah, I love it. Just the
Yeah.
3/4 low profile helmet. It fits good, looks good. You put the space shield on it, and it's just
And is it as safe as this one?
Yeah,
with
just
a
as
little more
safe.
padding kind of thing.
well.
or-
That's the thing with the DOT. It does have the DOT on the back.
right.
Oh, DOT
It doesn't mean anything.
yeah, DOT means jack all.
The way that they've rated things. Do you know how they get that DOT sticker on the back? They pay
They
for
just
it.
Print it on.
No, well, that's basically they pay
Right,
to say that
right.
they've done some
Yeah.
level of tests.
Yeah.
The actual tests that they've done are not substantial
Right,
to
yeah.
actually,
Right.
unless you're going for a Snell or
The-
those really high end helmets.
Yeah.
You're not getting.
Yeah, for a safety rating for a helmet, right now the best one to go for is the European standard, the ECE.
Yeah.
Like they require the helmet manufacturer to do specific real world tests on impacts for those helmets. But I mean, they're only full face helmets.
Yeah.
Like, you can only
Right.
And they're good to have. Full faces are good to have. Like I'm not
Yeah.
going to
but
smack talk them
you
because-
can't get one rated for that in
For the
a
3/4.
3/4. So it has to have a chin bar in order to get that ECE rating. But
Yeah.
they actually test it for concussions, for rotational force, for
Right.
impact punctures, stuff like that. Like they're very, very safe helmets.
Yeah, and where the DOT
But DOT
standard,
means
the
jack
North
all.
American DOT standard doesn't mean anything. And so if you see a helmet without DOT on it, like they were so lazy that they didn't even pay for that. Like
Right,
that's a
right.
hat.
Yeah.
You're wearing a glorified hat, and they look cool. They really do because I love low profile, and I found a low profile 3/4, and I just know that. Yeah, maybe it'll save my ass, maybe it won't. But
Right.
if I hit anything with my head without a helmet, then yeah, it's gonna do something.
The first time I saw somebody riding a motorcycle when we were like my wife is from the States, so we went to her hometown, North Dakota there. So we're driving on the highway. and
North
past-
Dakota. I heard you say it like that too.
North Dakota. It's yeah. Oh, I won't even go there. Fargo.
All right.
Anyway, pass this guy riding his motorcycle on the highway. He's not wearing a helmet. I was
Right.
like, I was
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah.
First, I was like, yeah, it's not a law. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
That sounds dangerous and glorious at the same time.
And it is.
We were in Oklahoma, yeah, and I seen these bunch of riders riding by and no helmets, and I thought, wait a minute,
Yeah.
this can't be right.
Yeah.
These guys are. This is so illegal.
Fucking awesome. I love it. I love
And, like,
freedom
no-
riding.
Nobody bats an eye. You do that here,
Man.
you are getting stopped and your bike like taken
Oh, yeah.
away.
That
Essentially,
is just so foreign, hey?
Oh yeah, but it's,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we have such
I've
a
ridden-
nanny state.
Oh, yeah. And then we bitch about having to wear a helmet. It's like you realize you're sitting on top of a motor that has 100 horsepower usually, and you're flying down the highway, and all you have to do is wear this tiny piece of plastic on your head. Like, no seatbelts. You don't have to wear a
Oh,
leather
man.
jacket.
Has it ever crossed your mind how close your balls are to that to that piston that's aimed directly at them?
Well, I wasn't thinking about it, but I've had a vasectomy too, so I'm not worried about that.
Oh, that's good.
Just the
Oh man.
the rod just lets go and bam.
Oh, well, I mean that's a thing.
Right in
Like,
the
I mean,
kitchen.
it's not a thing for street bikes, but
Well, it's because they're in Land 4s, right?
Yeah.
With the
So-
V twins, you got a
In-
piston
in-
aimed right at your chest.
in the club scene that we were in, we've come across people that do like essentially like the top fuel racing. Like they take these Harleys, stretch them out, jack them up to the nines for these big old drag races,
Right.
Yeah.
and they wear Kevlar chest pieces because they're laid right over top of the bike.
Right.
But that Kevlar chest piece is there so that if the piston
Yeah.
pumps through
Yeah.
Through
pumps
the gas
through
tank.
the engine and through. I mean, it's not a gas tank at that point.
Oh yeah, it's just an airbox
that's
at that
just
point.
an airbox on top of that. The gas would be lower further down in the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like it happens where the rod will let
Wow.
go and the piston will
Crazy.
punch right through that thing. So they're like, well, I mean, yeah, it's still gonna hurt. It's gonna probably knock you off the bike,
Yeah.
but at least it's not gonna go through you.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
And when it comes to
That's living on the edge.
and between power and balls, sometimes as you learn to ride, you get the difference between power and balls. Because I've had a brother who had a really powerful bike, and in the straight stretches he could take me. But the second a corner came up, I was flying past him, and I'd keep
Really?
like he would find his top end, and he'd be like, "Okay, this is as fast as I want to go," and I go flying by him because as much as my bike won't go faster, or it won't go faster. But I will.
Right.
Like, I'll go faster than his bike
Right.
or faster than he will. So, yeah, they have a certain factor of just a little bit of dumb and a lot of fun.
And I will say, like, it is more fun, and this is a bit of a cliche at this point, but it's true. It's more fun riding a slow bike fast than riding a fast bike slow.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you
Really?
have a bike
Oh, yeah.
that you just feel it wants to fly away on you, and you can't master it, or you need to ride it really, really reserved, knowing it's there, but you can't handle it.
Right.
It kind of sucks.
Like when you
Yeah.
rode that CBR 900 all the way up to Watson Lake
Oh, yeah.
at like 110,
Yeah, so this-
maybe.
Full 900 sport bike,
It's a sport bike.
which I love riding them. I have a lot of fun on them.
We're
I
talking.
have-
Okay, so sport bikes are crotch rockets.
Crotch rockets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, crotch rocket,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those. We
Just so
have one
yeah,
kicking
so I'm
around.
getting
So I mean that,
yeah?
yeah, that thing can go.
I've seen it go 265.
Is that when you were on it?
I don't know.
I had it higher.
You had it at two.
I had it higher.
You had it higher than 265.
265.
Yeah.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Wow.
We have to say that we're up to.
I was in a closed circuit straight stretch,
It's very close.
very closed circuit, but I had it up over 280. But
What?
Wow.
I accidentally got the front end on that one. Nothing scarier than accidentally doing a wheelie. You're like, I didn't mean that.
See, I tried to do a wheelie on it once.
You did do it.
Well,
when
I mean,
you first
I've
got
done
it.
I've wheelied it a number of times, but the one time when I was like, all right, I'm gonna try and actually do it, I revved too high and I dumped the clutch too hard.
Oh, the back end just kicking
and
out
just,
from you.
no, it
Oh,
wheelied,
man.
but
Yeah.
it went much more 12 o'clock than I was expecting. Oh, my sphincter slapped shut so fast.
Oh, that's so
Oh,
funny.
that was a hard moment.
man.
But so that thing is a hoot. I like, like riding to.
I thought I had
riding
it the
to.
fastest.
Oh no.
Riding into Watson Lake was boring as
Yeah,
hell.
riding into Hudson's Hope like alone, so much fun. Like having that thing leaned over in those corners, going down the hills and
Right.
stuff like that. It's
Right.
stupid, retarded. Don't do it, but it's fun. But riding in a whole bike full of Harleys with that thing, trying to go to Watson Lake with a person who is being very respectful about
Very, very reserved.
leading the whole thing. So
Ruined it.
the comfort on that thing comes from speed. Is
Right.
that air pocket underneath you kind of like almost floats you. It feels like you're flying, like you're Superman. Like you're not on your wrists and
Yeah.
you're not holding yourself up. Like you're kind of like just
I see what you're
hovering
saying,
over it
yeah.
almost, right?
It's like okay.
Like
okay.
a pocket, like something
yeah.
just lifting you up by your chest while you're riding your bike.
Yeah.
Right.
Taking
right.
that weight off it.
But to experience that on the highway, you need to be doing 120, 130.
Right.
So being stuck at 110, which it can do in first gear.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. That must seem like
Yeah,
it's like
it is just
30 kilometers an hour.
Oh, it seems so
Yeah.
slow. Yeah, you're right. Like
Yeah.
it feels like you're doing 30.
Yeah.
and,
You have to-
and at that point you're stuck hard on your wrists, leaning over it, or
Yeah,
like
right.
pinching the tank and trying to hold yourself up with your core,
man.
and you're hating life.
Yeah.
Riding a fast bike slow sucks.
Yeah.
Well, even slowing
Wow.
down
Yeah.
from I got my bike quite fast. I think my bike can go around 200, and when you've gotten up to that speed and then you slow down to 100, you feel
Oh,
like you're
it's
crawling.
terrible.
You're like,
yeah. Yeah.
am I doing? I feel like you're doing 50.
Am I going anywhere?
Am I moving?
Oh, yeah. My best advice for anybody that wants to stay within the realms of reason,
Legal realms?
Yeah, especially when you're riding,
Fuck legal.
just ride without a windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like especially if you're new.
Yeah.
Like, you'll hit more elements and stuff like that, but that wind pressure
Right.
is a
Slows-
natural deterrent
Oh, yeah.
Right.
to going too fast.
Just
Yep.
kind of meter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
well-
meters. Yeah.
Because I mean, trying to go 150 on a bike with no windshield, your head is set
Yeah.
because the pressure is just immense.
Right,
Yeah.
The wind on your chest and everything is
Yeah.
pushing you. You're hanging onto the bars.
Interesting.
It's
yeah.
fun,
It's good.
but it's not comfortable.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you find yourself dialing it back to speed when the wind is not putting that kind of pressure on you.
Right.
And so it's just a natural thing to keep you in a safe
That's a good
speed.
point. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
and I remember I had a
So,
friend who
second you
wanted to
put-
borrow my bike, and he said, "I want a black bike, loud pipes, no windshield." And I'm like, "All right, cool. I can take my windshield off in 5 minutes, and I've got loud pipes and a black bike." And so I lent him my bike, and after lending it to him, I'm like, "I'm gonna go without a windshield for a while." And I've got ape hangers. He loves apes too, and I have ape hangers. I
don't know what
love
that is,
the
by the
really
way.
tall,
So they're
tall
the-
handlebars.
Oh, okay.
The
yeah,
really
yeah.
dumb looking ones that
Right.
everyone's like, that's stupid. They're awesome. I love ape hangers.
They
If
do
I were to
look
get a
pretty
bike, if I were to get any other bike, the first thing I'd change is the handlebars.
Yeah, they do look cool.
Now in BC,
like it.
you have to keep your arm, your handlebars no taller than your shoulders.
Oh, okay.
So you're not able to hang off like a crazy person like they do in California, like they do in Mexico, like they do in some of the American states. You are restricted to at your shoulder. So what I do is I sit absolutely as upright as possible,
Right.
figure out where that is, and then once I'm on, I slouch.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, of
So
course
yeah,
you do. Yeah.
but you just get yourself in the optimum position.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna go without a windshield for a while. And do you know what you turn into when you have no windshield and ape hangers?
And you have your arms up like this.
Yes. You are a parachute. You're catching.
Yeah.
It's not like the mid-range bars, like the stock
Yeah,
bars that are
right.
all low.
Yeah.
No, they cut you a little.
Going from like this with your hands up here to this
Right.
with your hands here.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference
Oh, yeah.
for how much wind you're
yeah,
catching.
yeah.
You're catching so
Okay.
much. So I personally love ape hangers. Should you do your test with ape hangers? No. Just
Nine.
do them on the
Right.
stock
Nine.
ones.
Right.
Figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. But
I do like the look of a cruiser without a windshield.
Oh, it looks
Yeah,
so good.
It
Right?
is. There you have the cool factor too.
Oh,
yeah.
It keeps you safe, and it just
Yeah.
looks so good.
It looks so good. I was a Puritan for a long time, and I make fun of all the people with fairings and the giant windshields, and I'm like, you bunch of pussies. And now I'm like, I wonder how much a fairing would cost from a bike. The fairing is the giant windshield, the big piece of
Oh yeah,
plastic.
right. Okay.
So yeah,
are
like,
you there now?
I
You're
am.
getting it,
I'm
yeah.
ready to get a fairing. I am.
Okay.
But at the same time, I don't think I'd get rid of my bike. I think I would just have more than one bike.
Yeah.
I'm so going
Well-
the opposite direction. I want my bikes to be less and less.
You just want naked. Just
I want naked. I want small.
I
And
was thinking that I do like it without the saddlebags too.
Yeah.
Like just
Oh, I get
no
it.
saddlebags, no windshield.
that's
That's pretty.
Yeah,
That's
it's a Puritan. It's
Yeah.
Puritan.
that
It's
is the
raw.
best. That's the best way to start riding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
is
that's
when
pretty,
you're
pretty
just
badass.
when you're just keeping it badass, keeping it
Yeah.
pure. It's not a car. It's not a truck.
Yeah.
You're like,
And
I'm
if you wanna
riding this
zip it-
because I want to be on a fucking motorcycle,
That's right.
and then let it be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful place to start. And
Yeah.
if you get to the point where you're like, okay, I want to keep doing this, but I want to travel across the country.
Right.
Or I wanna-
windshields are a lifesaver.
or I
Yeah.
want to spend 5 days on the road riding interstates.
For sure. Yeah.
Then you start exploring
need-
other options.
need your
Yeah.
But
saddlebags.
you got to have that time where you're just
Yeah.
on 2 wheels and an engine.
Yeah.
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 And that's where
The ro-
and that's
the
where my bike
romance of the
started.
road.
My bike
Oh,
started.
Have you ever seen the documentary 21
No, he
Days
probably
Under the
hasn't.
Sun?
No.
You get a chance to find if you find 21 Days Under the Sun or yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Phenomenal.
this documentary of these 4 guys all going through like these various levels of midlife crisis. But
That's not what it's about. Just because they're
I had to
doing
get
it.
that dig in. We're all there, okay?
We're all there.
And they take these 80s and 70s Harley choppers. That are,
Hardtail.
like,
I think they're hardtail too.
Yeah, I think they were hardtail.
Okay, that means no
No
rear
rear
suspension.
suspension.
I did see a couple of those, and I thought that's gonna hurt.
Yes.
Well,
especially up north.
Like
Oh my goodness.
riding in California may be one thing, but man, like with frost heaves and potholes and stuff, like,
Yeah.
oh, that'd be a kidney buster.
Oh man.
Not a chance.
Yeah, no, that makes me feel
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Could you could imagine riding that Presbyterian road between Roseberry Road
Oh,
to Bernie's
screw
place?
off. No way.
No. every like 20 feet is
Yeah. But
and you're like,
is-
it sucks.
Is that an old bike, or do they
No.
wouldn't still make those? Would they?
Oh, they still make them like for they
They're
make,
custom though.
Yeah, they're custom. They make frames like that, and then people put the parts into them, and they do them for bike shows and for riding
Right.
'Cause they look
downtown in
good.
these cool cities that have
Yeah.
pristine roads and stuff. Like they're
Yeah.
not for
You'd
everyday
really
riding.
want to
No.
lower the pressure on your tire or something.
That you're doing anything at that point to get any kind of suspension. It's like, can I please have some cushion? Where's my tampon? I had this giant white pad that was like a micro. What was it?
It was supposed to
a
be
gel
It's
cushion,
supposed to be a
sheepskin,
lambskin because people like to take lambskins and put them over their
Oh yeah.
over their
Yeah.
seats for comfort.
For
And
comfort,
it's
like horseback riding, right?
amazing. It makes a huge difference. Takes away your pressure points
right.
and like
So I got one of those for the bike, but it was not an actual lambskin. It was like a faux one and
it looked like
a giant
period
tampon,
pad.
and
It looked like a period pad.
and it was horrible. It did not do what it was supposed to. I gave it away.
Oh man.
So
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, this movie.
21 Days Under the Sun.
Yeah. So
phenomenal
these
documentary.
4 guys take their old school choppers and they strap their stuff to the sissy bars on the back. There's no bags, no luggage or anything, just a duffel
Right.
bag strapped to the back seat, and they go to New York from
California?
California.
California, really.
And
California to New York in one.
just having fun,
They
being
hit
dudes.
the salt flats. They hit
riding
just-
their bikes in the salt flats and stuff, and like at some point you just need to experience that pure motorcycling,
Right.
and enjoy that for a time
Yeah.
before getting too technical with everything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we went through
That's the
that,
place to start.
and we did get to go through that.
I want to go. I'm going back to it.
Oh, I know you're going
I'm
back.
reverting.
You see, I want both. I want the bitch machine, the really comfy one that's great
Yeah.
for touring.
Yeah.
Where, but I still want it. I don't.
Right.
I hate to say I'm married to my bike, but I don't want to get rid of it. If I have to sell it, I'll sell it.
Yeah.
I will. I'm not married to it in that area. I will if push comes to shove and I have to get a $5,000 really quick, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll sell my bike.
Yeah.
But I'm not there, and I hope I'm never there because I want to just get more bikes.
Yeah.
I I love riding, and that's one of the nice things about the Honda is if you want to ride, it's always there. I didn't charge it. I didn't put a boost on it. I had it sitting on my back deck. I don't have access to a shop right now,
Right.
and it sat on my back deck all winter. I
Right.
forgot to take the battery out. I was going to do it, and I forgot. Do you know what I did last week? I started it, and I rode it to the front of my house.
Right.
That's it. No boost, no this, no
Yeah.
no hassle. Like with some bikes, you have to just nitpick and cover them and keep them warm all year round. No, I started it, rode it to the front of my house, rode it around the block, and yeah,
Really
ran great.
nice.
And I'm
Yeah.
just and that's what I know I have with my Honda. I'm very blessed
Yeah.
in that area.
Yeah,
and
that's what you want.
Oh, and that's
Yeah.
exactly it. You want if your first bike, you don't want to spend all your time working on it. That being said, learning how to work on bikes is so important too.
Right.
Like just getting your knuckles bashed in and
Right.
learning
Yep.
that. But that comes with time. You're going to get that
Yeah.
no matter what. If you get a motorcycle, you're going to bash your knuckles. You're going to
Sure.
learn a little. Devin, I'm pretty sure before riding motorcycles, you didn't have a whole lot of experience turning wrench, but you've got some now.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm far from a mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very, very far. But now I do know some things.
Yeah.
Righty tighty, lefty
it's-
loosey. You got that down.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
given me the opportunity on something that's not terribly intimidating, even though
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
intimidating to me, to tie into the engine on a certain thing or
Yeah.
to take the whole thing apart and be able to put it back together. Because it's only 2 wheels, an engine, and some tins. So
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm not bad at mechanicking, but I hate it.
Yeah.
But with such a small engine, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I
And
think.
that's the thing. Like, there's so much potential.
it's like a
right
hopped
there.
up lawnmower engine.
I
Yeah.
realize. Did you
Yeah.
have any questions for us? We've been asking all
I
the
think
questions so far.
I think you guys, you answered all of them.
Okay,
really.
good.
I mean, yeah.
We've got tons of gear
pretty much.
here. I've got there is so much out there for motorcycle gear.
Yeah.
I brought it all out because I'm like, I
Yeah.
want to show Andy some of
Okay.
this stuff.
Obviously, safety is paramount.
Yeah.
But
Look cool.
Yeah.
Look cool, man. Like we
Leather
said,
or bust.
we're all doing this to look cool, not dorks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that was
no room for vegans over here. You better wear. You know who else was a Hitler? Hitler was a vegan.
Yeah.
no. So jackets, gear, and boots, and
Okay.
like, what's the deal?
Okay, here's the problem that I have with gear. Harley makes some fucking great gear.
Yeah.
They really do. Like, it's expensive.
But then you have to wear the name when you're on a Honda.
yeah,
And that hurts the soul.
it does hurt the soul.
That's
It
right.
sucks.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Milwaukee is one of the brands that I have. I've had
Yeah.
3 or 4.
Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Milwaukee,
like the tool.
like the tool.
Like the tool, but it is a different company.
Oh, it
a
is?
company.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
it's a leather company and they
Yeah,
make boots.
a lot of Harley's products are just relabeled Milwaukee
Oh,
gear.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Milwaukee is
So
a
you
brand
don't
of boot.
have to
They're
pay
great.
that. You don't have to pay that name premium, so you can get some really nice stuff for a more discounted price.
Right.
But I would say getting a decent leather jacket that fits you well.
And because of
Okay, I have a leather jacket. It's not a
you want
bike
to
jacket.
hand them that one that's right behind you there? Feel that one. There is nothing special about this jacket. Does it weigh that? There's something to be said for a heavy leather. You can't
Right,
use a
it's-
lamb skin. You
it's-
can't use a goat skin. You need the heavier cow skins. And
Right.
that one I've had for
Like a dressy leather jacket doesn't do the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Because you want something
hear
that
ya.
is essentially
You
going
want
to.
you want thick leather.
Because if you fall down, you're falling down onto a asphalt cheese grater.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
especially and some of the roads that we have up here, they're not. You have to be prepared because
Yeah.
leather is one of the better. Kevlar is quite good, but even the people who have gone through incidences and done a little bit more research than I have say that leather wears better. It protects
Really?
better,
Yeah.
and you can get some pretty high end stuff. And the venting is important. You'll see the zippers on the back there. that's not style. That's venting. So on a hot
Right.
day, you want something that's going to breathe.
Right.
And that's a $400-$500 jacket. They cost a little bit, but
Yeah.
that one I've had
worth it.
for
It's insurance.
9 years. Yeah, I've had that one for almost 9 years.
Really?
Oh yeah, and it still looks good.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been wearing mine for, I think 5 now.
Yeah, but you've been through a little bit more than I.
Yeah, no, I dumped my bike wearing this one, so it's more.
That's
like,
right,
I need to get a new one.
Yeah, but your first jacket was a little big for you. Like it was a little looser fitting.
My first jacket, it was just a poorly made one. I got it from an outlet mall in Orlando. And yeah, it just disintegrated around me because it was poorly made. Like the
Right.
zippers and all that stuff
Yeah.
broke.
Yeah.
So the one I'm wearing now, it's a nice jacket. It's a good one. And it's put up with the stress of me gaining a few pounds. And it's also like taken me through like a serious dump on the bike.
Yep.
And yeah.
Okay. And another thing, chaps. Devin, they're right
Chaps,
beside you there.
right.
Top set. Chaps are important. Now, the phrase assless chaps is not a thing. All chaps are assless. If they had asses, they'd be
would be
They would be
pants.
pants.
That would be fast.
So if anyone ever says, "Oh, you got assless chaps," no, they're just chaps. Again, a heavier leather, whatever you can
Yeah.
find. Try them on too. Always try them on. Those
Right.
ones, again, I've had for 9 years, and they're
Right.
still good. They're still that, and not
You
dumping your bike.
condition them every now and then, and
Yeah,
Right.
use some
Yep.
water, some mink oil. I use mink oil on mine. It makes
Yeah.
it waterproofs them. Well, water resists them because you spend enough time in the rain. It doesn't matter how much waterproofing you do, you're gonna get wet.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
what I've noticed a lot with chaps is it's not just insurance for if you dump your bike that you'll be okay. It takes a lot of the
Pebbles, the road, like just everything.
well, just it's dampening of the feeling of wind wearing on your body makes
Oh,
a
really?
huge difference for your stamina
Yeah.
when you're like on the road for long times.
Right.
Is it just you're not feeling that constant
Yeah.
buffeting
right.
everything, like it just kind of smoothly. Whoops, that was empty. I'm a hand talker.
He is a hand talker.
It smoothly, lets wind hit you and
Yeah.
roll off you
Yeah.
without fluttering against your skin
Right.
all the time.
Right.
And after 5 hours of that,
Yeah.
Yeah, you think it's nothing,
you
but
think
after
it's
5 hours,
You think it's
but-
nothing, but after 5 hours, it makes you tired.
Right.
It makes you feel
Yeah.
worn. So
Interesting.
that
Yeah,
stuff is
okay.
actually a huge boost
Yeah.
in overall comfort and mental longevity when you're on a bike. Is
Yeah.
wearing decent leathers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And there's also rain gear. You can pick up any pair of rain gear that'll fit over or even under it, depending on how well
Right.
you want it to fit.
Yeah.
And you wear that.
Yeah, rain gear's huge. These
Huge.
leathers suck for rain. Like
Yeah.
for the odd,
You can
for
waterproof
the
them as
odd
much as you can.
shower, fine. But if you're
Right.
in for a downpour,
Oh,
and if you're on a road trip on a bike,
Mackenzie
you just
2020.
gotta know, like weather happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't plan around it. You can't always avoid it.
man.
So having
Couple hours in the rain.
Oh, we had
having
4 or
some-
5? What was Mackenzie?
So our whole club, when we were in it, went to Mackenzie from Fort St. John, which is a 4-hour ride.
4-hour ride, yeah.
Yeah.
Through the Pine Path.
It-
Ran the whole...
It rained from the second we hit the Bear Flats all the way to Mackenzie,
Oh,
and not just a light sprinkling.
No.
It was full
Gross.
torrential downpour.
Gross.
Your gear is wet. Everything's wet.
The ink in our vests was washing out of them.
Oh man.
Oh, I thought there was something wrong with my bike because there was just black around it. I'm like, what's going on? Something's wrong with my bike. And then I squeezed down the vest that I was wearing, my rag, and it was
man.
just
Yeah.
black coming off my clothes. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's that wet where the ink was just bleeding right out of it. It was horrible.
That was a run we should have canceled or
We
saved
should-
it, waited a day. But
Yeah, we're too
but
dumb.
I've been caught in rain while I've been, out on a road trip or something like that, and not had rain gear.
Keep going. I gotta pee.
I've been caught when I have had rain gear.
Yeah.
It's amazing what rain gear will do to keep you
Yeah.
dry.
Yeah.
And it's not expensive, and it balls up into something like
Right.
that big.
Yeah. So you can just store it in your whatever in your pocket
in
or
your
something.
pocket
Yeah.
even.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Plastic bag.
Oh yeah, that's an old biker trip.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like if you're hitting rain, hit a corner store and get a big
Yeah.
Glad garbage bag and cut a
Yeah.
hole for your arms
Yeah.
and for your head and put
They
it on.
actually
and
did
go.
that?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's an
man.
old trick.
Yeah. Nice.
You know, it's better than nothing.
That's good. That's good. So what about? So I have over the ankle boots, shoes, or
That'll do the
whatever it
trick.
is. Yeah.
I just
You don't need-
I wouldn't do steel toes.
No.
No.
Okay.
Steel toes, it will mess with your shifting. You may not even be able to properly feel where your shifter is, or get it stuck there. Find yourself popping into the wrong gear, or just getting your foot stuck under
Yeah.
your shifter and not able to.
I was thinking, like, you don't want like really tough ones or like really firm or stiff ones, right? Or
Yeah,
does that?
like I've got a pair of like nice Harley riding boots.
Yeah.
And it took like 4 weeks to wear in, where I was
Really?
like, okay, this is now comfortable to ride with, because they were
Wow.
too stiff at first.
Yeah.
It took a bit for that leather to kind of wear
Yeah,
in.
yeah, for sure.
And because before that it was too stiff. Exactly
Yep.
what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So just any kind of boots, any kind of, like they say over the ankle. Is that a thing?
yeah,
Like
over the
you want
ankle,
over the
something
ankle.
with real laces that you can tie up and
Yeah.
tie,
Yeah.
because if you do wind up going off a bike at high speed and wind up like spinning or something like that,
Yeah.
you can flip shoes straight off.
Right.
And
Right.
then-
Okay. Oh,
so-
so that's the reason, hey?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just something
okay.
that stays on your foot in case the worst happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right, next thing I want to talk about gloves. So
Right.
you got boots, we got chaps, we got jacket,
We
now
did
gloves, helmets, now gloves. There are a few different levels of gloves. Oh, you want to grab those other ones that are there? Those are my dailies. Those are nice
These are-
weather, great gloves that are just good for mediocre days. They don't have to be too hot, don't have to be too cold. They're just good gloves. They got the knuckle buster on the front, because as you're riding, rocks kick up, and that's
Right.
one of the reasons that I love having the bubble shield too on the for the helmet. Is you get hit by a rock and it seems like nothing, but imagine doing it like allegedly
Yeah,
130
You
or
know what
oncoming
the
traffic.
the worst thing I've ever been hit by was while riding?
No,
A dragonfly.
Oh,
Oh,
they knock you out. They're so big.
I was wearing I just had the normal open face helmet.
Mm-hmm.
This dragonfly hit me in the face, and it stung like a mother. But it hit me like, it didn't hit me head on. It hit like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
upright.
like, yeah. So like the whole body hit me broad face,
Oh.
and then it stuck there. and then we turned and a crosswind hit, and it went flick, flick, flick across my face, and then flew off the other side.
Bees, bumblebees.
Talk about
they hurt.
heebie-jeebies.
And be prepared. Safe. Oh, I didn't even get the safety glasses. We'll
Okay.
get there.
Yep.
We're at gloves.
Yeah, you're learning from this parade of our own mistakes. Bumblebee. I was riding downtown, thinking I was wearing a leather vest.
Look
that
at how
was
badass.
It was
sexy I
just a
am.
leather vest. I had it buttoned up, and I was like, it was a hot
Wife
day.
beater?
Wife? No, I wasn't even wearing a wife beater. It was just vest,
Just leather.
just leather.
So hot.
riding downtown in traffic, and a bee hits me, and it hit me kind of here, and I wasn't going fast enough for it to like explode, like, so it was living. It crawled through my beard and then down my chest and started stinging me on my chest, that I obviously should have been wearing a t-shirt that day.
Or something.
And I couldn't pull over because there's vehicles all around me, so I'm sitting there slapping my chest like
Those should be really tight.
yeah.
Oh, man.
So you're slapping your chest trying to kill this thing
while I'm driving, trying not to crash my motorcycle. People are looking at me and being
like a retard.
"Yep."
All right. So I got a similar one to that. I was riding in the middle of a pack, and I had a longer beard, and a bee got in my beard. And for some reason, at the last stop, I didn't have time to put my gloves on. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, shit, we got to ride. So we're riding, and then I got a bee gets in my beard, and I'm like, shit. And I know that it's like It was a pretty good beard. I don't have a great beard, but I have a good beard. And he got in there, and I grab him, and I feel like I got him because I'm not wearing gloves. And I go to fling him out, and he stings my hand on his way out like a last fuck you. And I'm in the middle of a pack, so I'm like just sitting there like, oh. So not like getting stung in the chest, but still, that is a learning thing. All right, so that back to the gloves. That one is my daily. That one I got on sale. This one here, the Knuckle Buster. It was great because you pick them up. But the thing is, do you know what's a great glove to have? Just a daily construction gloves.
Yeah, just like
I was going to say, we live in an oil field country, and I mean we get gloves with the with the padding or the
I'll buy
those work awesome.
They're great,
and they cost like less than half as much as motorcycle gloves cost.
Yes. Yeah. So those are great for the daily. If you're just looking for a glove to wear, knowing that it might get slightly cooler than in 19.
Those ones that you have on right there, the important thing about those is the big cuff.
The cuff,
yeah. That's
just
right.
For those that are just listening,
getting that over
gauntlets.
Getting that over your jacket cuff.
Yeah.
When you're doing high speed, like long haul highway riding, it just cuts out that access of wind getting in your jacket.
Or
bees, yes.
Lace-eye.
Yeah, so those are phenomenal. Everyone needs a pair of gauntlets. Like, you don't need these ones here. These are another level.
Oh.
Those are insulated for riding, like how temperatures are now.
And those ones are electric.
Oh,
so those are my heated gloves, my heated gauntlets. So you charge those batteries.
I am both very much judging you and also very jealous right now.
And those ones only cost me like $150, and they got a rechargeable battery pack. And you push that button. I haven't charged them in a long time, so the battery is very dead. But yeah, you push this little button, and they got 3 levels of heat, and I only ever need one because you could ride them on the Skidoo. But they're great to have for, especially being up north. We have such a short season. You want to take advantage of all the season you can.
Right.
There are so much out there for heated gear. This is the only piece of heated gear I have. There are literal jackets that plug into your bike. These ones can plug into your bike if you have your wiring set up right. But there are jackets out there that plug into your jacket, into your bike, and then pants, and then socks. So you could be heated head to toe.
Nice.
I only have the gloves. I'm not.
Yeah, that's what my dad does now. He's like, I've paid my dues.
Yeah.
I've ridden hardcore. I can be in a little comfort right now.
Right.
And these are $160. $160, and you got heated gloves.
Yeah. I have snowmobile gloves that are fairly close to this.
Yeah.
Like they got the padding on the fingers.
Yeah, that's essentially the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
They even got the little scraper.
Yeah. That's exact. They might be that and just resold as a motorcycle.
100%. Those are snowmobile gloves that somebody was like, I think we can market these to leather daddies on their Harleys.
And then these ones probably won't fit you. These are very tight on me. Like, I got small hands, and these are the fingerless gloves, and they are, I got the tightest pair I could get, because sometimes it's just too goddamn hot. And you want to wear gloves, because it's just hard on, the grips can be hard on the hands after a while, but you don't want to wear a lot. So that's what these are. And I love fingerless gloves, and they look super gay and stereotypical biker wearing the glove. Oh, they do fit you. Barely. And there's something stereotypical about the the fingerless gloves, but they're great. They really are, and they feel good.
Safety wise, not much there.
Not if you skid. If you skid on the ground, it's something.
Yeah.
First
thing that happens when you fall down, you put out your palms. To catch yourself. Okay. So there's something there. It's not much, but it's better than your skin.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So as much as they're not doing much, because you're not going to get the same rock protection like you would out of the knuckle busters or the construction gloves is what I use a lot of, but it's construction season passed, so I have no more construction gloves until I buy more. Like the summer gloves are done. I use them up, but yeah, and those are different types of gloves, and I my go-to are the summer gloves with the knuckle on the front. They're great. They work good.
Yeah, these are actually really comfy.
Yeah, and they're really, really good. I got those ones. I always cut off the Velcro tags because they have the like you do in the construction gloves where they have the Velcro that goes over top, but I hate them. Yeah. If I'm hanging on them, fine. I don't need that all the time. I don't need to pull it.
Right.
All right, brother. Yeah. We've been at this for a while. We need to wrap it up.
All right. Do you got any other questions that we can...
No, that's great. you guys covered it.
We got,
That's awesome.
yeah, and you learn as you go. Death is a factor. People die.
Yeah.
Helmets, you just learn to. I love 3/4. You love full face.
Is Jesus your Lord and personal Savior?
He is actually. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right,
Then you know where you're going. Then it's only like everything's great.
Yeah.
That's good. Good to know.
And of course he is, because he didn't drink the Odin beer.
The Odin.
I told you, as good as the beer he makes, he's a crap deity. Okay?
He's a crap deity, but Odin's gift.
I'm not advocating worship to Odin.
This is quite a good beer. We only had one can of it. I would have offered you the other one, but
well,
I know
next
how
time.
much he loves it.
My daddy can beat his daddy. Let's just say that much.
All right. That was such a fun podcast to do, because we've done this conversation a million times, but we've
Yeah.
never recorded it.
Yeah.
We've never,
That's fun.
because we
Yeah,
talk about
that's
budgets,
cool.
we talk about jackets, we talk about
Yeah.
gear, and there's always more to learn. And
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's things that we missed, but
I'm going to have so many questions after this. I'm
oh,
sure.
yeah. And as for motorcycles, metrics are great for learning on, but for your all-time bike, you won't know until you start doing it.
Yeah.
You really
Yeah.
won't. Like, I know
sure.
what bike I love now, and I know that it's going to be a lot weaker than I want it to be. Cause, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll get there.
No.
But, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
this was fun, man.
Yeah.
And I look forward to
Thanks,
having
guys.
you and Bernie on next time that we do one. Cause,
I know, we got to
Yeah,
talk about your whole ordeal going east to Ottawa.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
that's
man.
another one. in
I feel
itself.
like that could be a fun conversation in this format.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we got to get another office chair, or one of you guys is going to be sitting on one of those, because we'll get a second mic. Because I don't know if you see my setup. I got room for one more mic, and that's it.
Right. Yeah. All right. Yep.
So I think that's pretty much all we have for today. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, please give a like and a share to people who might like it or hate it. I don't care if they like it. Just share it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you feel.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Fucking do what you're told. With that, I just got to say God bless.
Don't be a dick.